Hey everyone, and welcome! Today, we're doing something a little different. We're going to unlock the secret lives of objects. We're diving headfirst into the Silverzz antique collection to explore the stories that are hiding inside these beautiful pieces of antique silver. It really goes to show that sometimes the most amazing histories are the ones we can actually hold right in our hands.
So just think about this for a second. Look around you right now. Maybe you have a favorite coffee mug or a watch you wear every day. What if it could talk? What if it could tell you every single place it's been, everything it's seen? It's kind of a wild thought, isn't it?
You know, that idea is really at the core of why so many of us are just fascinated by antiques, and especially by antique silver. It's so much more than just, a pretty shiny thing. It's a real, tangible connection to a past that's otherwise completely gone.
And this really breaks down that whole allure. I mean, first, each piece is a witness to history. Can you even imagine the conversations it's overheard over the centuries? It's also a mark of incredible hands-on craftsmanship from a time way before factories. Then it becomes a carrier of memories, passed from parent to child to grandchild. And of course, it's just this powerful symbol of longevity, a beautiful thing that's managed to outlast generations of people.
The thing to remember is that we're really just the current keepers of these items. Every single piece has had this rich, full life long before we ever came along, just silently watching the world change around it. Which brings us to a collection that is all about celebrating that very idea.
So let's actually take a look at some of these pieces from the Silverzz antique collection. And this isn't just a pile of old stuff. It's what you'd call a curation of stories, with each one carefully preserved in silver.
The collection has a very specific focus: the incredible artistry and history of English silver. And that gives us this amazing window into a very particular time and place, a world where silversmiths were seen as true artists and their work was a central part of life.
Okay, this is where it gets really, really cool. We're going to lean into that idea we started with and imagine that some of these objects actually can talk. We've picked out a few treasures from the collection to share the tales they might tell if they had a voice.
Just listen to that. You can almost picture it, can't you? You can smell the coal smoke in the air. You can hear the rumble of the brand new industrial age getting started. And right there, in the middle of all that noise and change, is this quiet, little domestic moment, just pouring tea.
So, the voice you just heard? It belongs to this absolute beauty, the Kensington teapot, made right around 1845. It is the perfect piece of the Victorian era. It's elegant, but it's also really sturdy. It was built to last.
And its journey is just incredible. It started its life as raw silver, probably mined thousands of miles away in the Americas. Then, it was completely transformed by a skilled London craftsman who hand-chased it. That means he painstakingly hammered all those intricate designs into the surface by hand. It started its new life as a wedding gift, and for over 100 years it saw countless family gatherings. But finally, it found its way here, to be preserved in the Silverzz collection.
All right, let's listen to another voice. This one's older, from a totally different time. Picture a candlelit room, packed with passionate writers and thinkers, all debating these huge, radical new ideas about art and revolution. And this little object was sitting right there on the table, taking it all in.
And here it is, the Georgian sugar bowl from around 1790. You can see the design is totally different, right? It's more delicate, more classical. It just speaks to a time of enlightenment, elegance, but also massive social change.
Now, just let this number sink in for a second. Over 230 years. This one small bowl has been around through more than a dozen monarchs, a few industrial revolutions, and basically the entire birth of the modern world. It is absolutely mind-blowing when you think about it.
So you're probably wondering, okay, this is cool, but how do we know all this stuff? How can you be so sure about the dates and places? Well, it's because silver carries its own biography, stamped right onto its body. It's like a secret language, and we're about to show you how to read it.
That secret language is called a hallmark. And really, this whole system was genius for its time. It was basically one of the world's very first forms of consumer protection. Think of a hallmark as a passport for a piece of silver. It's a set of official stamps that tell you its quality, where it was tested, and, believe it or not, the exact year it was made.
At first glance, it just looks like a bunch of tiny, random pictures. But I promise, once you know the code, it all clicks into place. So how do we crack it?
Okay, this chart lays it all out. Let's use that Kensington teapot as our example.
First, you'd look for the lion passant, that little walking lion. That's the universal symbol for sterling silver, so you know it's 92.5% pure. Next, you've got the leopard's head. That tells you it was certified in the City of London. Now, the real detective work is the date letter. Every single year had a different letter and a different style of font. For our teapot, a very specific letter K tells us it was made in 1845. And that last one, the sovereign's head, that's a duty mark. It's basically an antique tax receipt stamped right on the silver to prove the maker paid their taxes to the king or queen.
So you see, these tiny, almost invisible little stamps, they are everything. They're the keys that completely unlock the object's identity, and they turn it from just a beautiful thing into a verifiable piece of history.
And this shows you the difference so clearly. Without the hallmarks, you've just got a pretty old object, but its past is a total mystery. But with the hallmarks, suddenly you have an historical document. You have a known date, a known city, and a story you can actually prove. The mystery is solved.
I absolutely love this quote because it brings this whole thing full circle, doesn't it? Learning to read these marks, it's the closest we're ever going to get to actually hearing these objects speak. They tell us exactly where they were born and when. They tell us their real story.
And that kind of leaves us with one last thing to think about. Just like that teapot and that sugar bowl, the objects we own and cherish today, well, they're probably going to be around a lot longer than we are. They're going to become the antiques of the future. So what stories will they tell about you and about our world to the people who find them 100 years from now?